Hey everybody, so we didn't get any questions in on yesterday's message on the gospel and work, but I wanted to film a quick video because I said I would every Monday in this series. And I also wanted to just make a couple of quick plugs for you. The first is this. We announced this yesterday during service, but in case you missed it, we have added a bonus week, a 7th week to this series that you get to vote on the topic. So the gospel and blank, you fill in the blank. You can do that at fairoaks.org/and. Go to the bottom, click on the button, and you can put in a topic that would interest you, or you can vote on topics you already see there that would interest you. If you're someone, you just want to go with the flow and see what comes, that's great too. But if you want to shape this series and help give voice to what that final topic is, I want to encourage you to go to fairoaks.org/and do that today. The second plug I want to make is really something related to yesterday's message, and that is, I just wanted to say one more thing to all my retired friends who raised their hand yesterday. We talked a lot about work, and I talked about how you can help those of us that are in the thick of it. But something I also wanted to say is, we saw in the message that we are made for this rhythm of work and rest. That means, I believe, if there's work in the Garden of Eden, there's going to be work in heaven. Which, if that sounds like hell to you, not heaven, go watch the message. This is something good God has designed for us. But if you're retired, that means you have a future of work ahead of you in the new creation. And so what I wanted to just point out is in this in-between space, where you are retired from the 9 to 5 and on your way to glory, I just wanted to say just because you don't receive a paycheck for a 9 to 5 job doesn't mean you can't do great work here and now. We say it all the time here, but if you're not dead yet, you're not done yet. And that certainly applies to your work. In fact, some of the hardest working people I know are retired. I'll give you just a few from our church. Jim Maddox and John Gingrich are two retired guys without whom this church literally wouldn't be here. Like, the building would have fallen in and collapsed by now. I think there was one time last year where I joked to Jim, like, hey man, we could get you an office here at the church. He was here so often. And same with John, just serving in various capacities. And so those are two guys that don't have a 9 to 5 anymore, but they are still doing great work. And it's not just them. Karen Leong is someone who is retired. But man, without her, again, this church, I don't know where we would be, because many of you know she serves as our bookkeeper. And you might know this about me. I love Jesus, not math. And so if it weren't for Karen, I'm consistently coming behind the scenes, keeping an eye on things, providing wise counsel and wisdom and input to me and to our board. Again, this church would be in a very different place. And so I just wanted to round out the message yesterday to say, retired folks, you can help those of us that are in the thick of it. That was the primary drive of yesterday's message. But I also want to remind you, you're headed to heaven where you are going to do great work for all eternity. And so I know the energy it takes to wring yourself out in these days might look different than it did during your primary working years. But you can still do great work in this place as you are on your way to glory, where you will have renewed energy for all eternity. So hope you hear that as an encouragement. We are so grateful to have you retired folks here. You are driving this church in so many meaningful ways, and we are so grateful for you. And so I hope you could take some measure of encouragement from that and from the message yesterday as well. That said, we're going to get back at it this Sunday with the gospel and cancel culture. Should be an interesting one. We'll see you then.